Everyone, it's Emily. Welcome back on my channel. Today's video is going to be a collective book haul. I have been accumulating a ridiculous amount of books as usual, and I thought it was about time that I share them with you. So if you don't know, I'm a book outlet blogger friend, so I will be linking my page down below so you can go and check all of the books that I have been purchasing from them. So we're going to start with the first three that I have actually already read this month. So I'm going to go quickly because you're going to be seeing them a lot. They were really good. So the first one is The Running Man by Richard Bachman, aka Stephen King. This one is kind of a dystopian action-packed book where you're following a man that is trying to make money through kind of a reality TV show where people are trying to kill him, and every hour he doesn't die, he gets money. So he's trying to raise that money for his sick daughter. So kind of gave me a vibe of 1984, but like really action-packed type of movie. Would definitely recommend. The next one is also written under Richard Bachman, but is Stephen King. This one is The Long Walk, and this one shocked me. I really ended up enjoying it. This one you're following 100 teenagers that are selected to be part of the Long Walk. Basically, they have to walk until one last teenager man is standing, and that person gets whatever they wish for. But until then, they have to walk non-stop. They have like 3 warnings, and afterwards they are shot in front of everyone. So they can't stop to use the bathroom, they can't stop to sleep, so they have to just walk non-stop, and it's just exhausting just reading it. So I would totally recommend it. I felt like it was really great to just follow the mental state of the kids, and just, I'm saying kids, but I mean the teenage boys. But yeah, it was surprisingly really good. I would totally recommend it. Very creepy. Then the last one that I already read was Every Fear by Peter Swanson. Last year I read The Kind Word Killing, also by the same author. So I obviously wanted to read more from him. So when I saw it on Book Outlet, I had to grab it. This one was equally creepy. I'm not sure if I like it more than The Kind Worth Killing, but I do think it was worth the read. In this one, you're following a young adult UK woman who decides to switch for 6 months apartment with her cousin that lives in the US, and she suffers from PTSD. You don't know in the beginning what happened in her past, but you know it's kind of dark, and she has anxiety. Basically, reading the book will make you feel anxious. But the day she arrives in the apartment, but the day she moves in her cousin's apartment, she realizes that there's been a murder next door, and things just get really dark really quick. I like his book because there's like always twists and turns. Obviously, it's kind of a thriller, and the cover, I didn't realize in the beginning how creepy it is, but those are windows, and there's someone checking someone through a window. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea what it is about, but would totally recommend this. I enjoyed it. The next 2 are also kind of creepy books. Clearly, I have been in the mood, and I've been like reading a lot of those lately. The first one is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. I don't know much about it. I don't like to read thrillers knowing anything about them, so that's kind of what this one represents. I don't know anything. I believe I have seen good reviews about it, and it just is like a floppy book. Always make me happy. I have been accumulating thrillers. This is just another one of those. Hopefully I'll have time to read it this month, possibly actually, and I will be letting you know what I think about it. And then I got The Bazaar of Bad Dreams by Stephen King. This is a collection of short stories from him. I have never read any of his short stories, but I have heard really great things. Let's be honest, the cover totally is the reason I decided to grab it. Oh, the back is kind of creepy. Oh, it's the same as the front. Okay. I just thought maybe a short stories would be a good addition when I want to go in between books. Sometimes you just want a little bit of a break. So I thought this was going to be a break. Maybe not. I don't read a lot of short stories, so I just thought it would be a great addition to my collection. And then the rest is nothing creepy. They're just books I've been interested in reading. The first one is Binti Home by Nidia Corafor. I read last year or earlier this year Binti, and it's a really nice novella that was sci-fi. The only thing is I felt like I wanted more. Obviously novella, the books are short, so you just always, so chances are you are going to feel a little bit like that. Sometimes you don't, but I wanted more, and I believe it's a trilogy. So when I saw the second book on Book Outlet, I decided to grab it, and hopefully I'll have time to read this. It's pretty short, so I probably will be including this in a future readathon, because it's always great to have smaller books for readathons. Very motivating. Then I did a thing, I don't know about you, but when I find books that are cheap about series that I've been interested in reading, I end up doing this, where I just buy the series without having even started it, and you're like, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Hopefully it is. The reviews are really good. The first book is Three-Part Dead by Max Gladstone, so I decided to grab the second, Two Serpents Rise. The third, the first Snow, and then the fourth, I believe that's the order, of Full Phantom 5. So I grabbed a series. We'll see if it was a mistake or not in the following months. I've seen a lot about this book either on Goodreads or on BookTube. I feel like a lot of people were mentioning it. It's a newer book. Some people say it's YA, some people say it's adult. I'm not sure which one it is. This is The Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst. I don't know anything about it. It is supposed to be a fantasy book. I believe it's like a girl that... I'm not sure detail. It was a queen, magic, forest. I'm always into anything that has magic, so I decided to grab it and decide for myself what I thought about it. And then the last book from my book outlet haul was The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu, which is a fantasy series that I've seen going around. It's pretty big, but I love fantasy series, and I've been like in the mood. Like, I feel like I've been reading so many thrillers that I'm starting to like feel the like fantasy sci-fi binge need coming back. So I decided to grab this one. I've heard that the second one is better than the first one. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see what it's all about. Let me know if you have read it and what you think about it, because I feel like the reviews were a little bit mixed on the first one, but everyone seemed to love the second one. This one, I got a few new books, which I don't do often, I feel like. I usually find really good books that are used, so I don't really feel the need to buy new books. But lately, there's been quite a few great new books that have been coming out. Actually, I've pre-ordered a couple that you probably will be seeing next month, like Harry Potter books and La Belle Sauvage by Philip Pullman. Anyway, there's so many that are coming out. But one that has come out and that I have actually already read is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. It was my first time reading one of his books, and I know a lot of his books are YA, kind of love interest. A lot of characters are gay, and no exception here. It was really like... Obviously, I should have seen it coming. Obviously, the title is They Both Die at the End, so the feels should have been obvious, but this isn't a review. I'm supposed to just let you know what this is about. Basically, this is kind of a, what they say, utopia. In my opinion, this is completely dystopian world, because I would not want to know when I'm going to die. But in this world, between 12 and 3 in the morning, there's a group of people that are their job is to call people and let them know today's your last day. So just, you know, put your place in order and just be ready to die. You don't know how it's gonna happen. You just know it's gonna happen that day. You can't do anything about it. It's just gonna happen no matter what. So you're following a main character who gets the call, lets him know today's your last day. The teenager suffers from anxiety, and he decides to go on an app that was made for people that are about to die. They can either make friends with people that aren't about to die or the people that are in the same situation as him. He decides to do that, and he makes a last friend, which is the name of the app. And then, you know, feels just happen, and you will probably feel all choked up at the end. But yeah, that was sad. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Sad. The next book I had pre-ordered and received, and I'm currently reading it, which, yes, my bookmark is a plaster. Fancy schmancy. But I started reading Sleeping Beauties by Stephen King and Owen King. And this one, basically, so far what's happening is that women are starting to be affected by a disease, you don't know exactly what's going on, that put them to sleep. It only happens to women, no matter what your age is. And when you go back to sleep, you kind of have that like white cast on your face, basically like a moth. And if someone tries to rip it off, you're just basically going crazy and you kill people. So, so far I'm very intrigued. I cannot wait to see where it's gonna go. I'm just 150 pages into it, and there's like 700 pages, so I will probably let you know at the end of the month. But so far so good. I am into it. I'm intrigued. Let's just put it at that. But some of the people here, I mean, a lot of the time, like Stephen King books, you kind of end up hating some of the characters because they're like evil. So obviously it's not the book's fault, it's like just the characters, but some of them are just not making me happy right now, so. Next 3 books are in French. I don't read French books unless they're like classics. It's just what it is. If the book has been written in French, that should be more like that. I'm not open to reading French books. I'm just not open to reading translations. Like, if the book has been written in French, I might as well read it in French. See, that's better like that. But basically, I had a gift card that I haven't used from a mall, and they don't have anything interesting in that mall, basically, except they have a place where you can buy books, but they only have them in French. So I decided to use some of said gift card on books. First one I got is Le Comte de Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, which this one is part 2. I have the part 1 that I had found used, and when I saw that they had part 2, I'm like, obviously I'm gonna get it because I'm totally planning on reading this book probably next year. You're gonna see I'm planning to read a lot of big books, so obviously if a book is in 2 books, you know it's a big one. So I will totally be reading this. I'm just gonna start stacking them in the front. Since they only had pretty much classic that I was into, I decided to get another book by Alexandre Dumas. This one is Les Trois Mousquetaires, so basically the Three Musketeers, the classic written by him. It's also a big one. Obviously this is like a mass market paperback, but there's like almost 900 pages. It's intimidating. I remember reading this as a kid, but I don't remember pretty much anything, so I'm excited to read this also. And then the last one is Madame Bovary by Flaubert, which I remember also reading this as a kid, and I'm pretty sure a lot went way over my head, so I thought it would be interesting to read it again as an adult and see how I feel about it. Speaking of French book, I had started reading Misery by Stephen King because I accidentally picked it up at my library sale and not realized it was French because the title was in English. And I just could not stand it. That's kind of why I hate translations. Now that I speak English, I hate reading a book that was written in English in French. It just seems weird to me. Could completely be all in my head, so that's kind of why I stuck to classics. Hopefully I will find other ones that I'm into. I probably will have to order because I didn't have a great selection. So far those are the classics I decided to pick up. If you have any other French classics that you think I would enjoy or want me to read, please feel free to let me know in the comments. A few more finds. I found some really great used books, and some of them I'm just shocked by how pretty they're looking right now. Clearly I was in a mood for Stephen King. I feel like I've been talking about him a lot, which is weird because like half the books that I've read I didn't really love, but half of them I did, so I'm always a little, I don't know, but I've been just hoarding his books, literally. I saw this one. This is Different Seasons by Stephen King. This is I believe, four short stories by him, and one of them is Shawshank Redemption. Basically, the movie was based on that short story, which I was super late, but I've only watched that movie a couple of like weeks ago. Super late. I absolutely loved it. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, you need to. But when I learned that it was based on a short story, I decided to grab it, and it's in this edition with 3 other ones. So obviously, I'm gonna read all of them. So, doing this. A lot of people have been letting me know that I need to read some books by Joe Nesbo, who I believe there's a few actually movies that are coming out based on his books. He has a series about like thriller-ish series, and my library has some of them, but they're always out of stock. So when I saw this one, The Snowman, for an affordable price, I decided to grab it. I feel like a lot of people have been telling me to read this. The only thing is, this isn't the first book in the series, and I know some thrillers, like detective work type of books, you can start pretty much anywhere in the series and you're gonna be fine. And I believe this one might be like that. Otherwise, let me know, because I think this is like a 7th book in the series. I will eventually go back and read like the first 1 to whatever, whenever they're available online. But I decided to grab it. I don't know, should I read this right now during the fall, or should I keep it for the winter? Because The Snowman kind of makes me feel like I should keep this for the winter. Let me know. I don't know about you, but there's some tropes, some premises that I'm just into. They can be like the same book 50 times-ish, and I'm still gonna be into it, that premise. And one of them being, I like magical schools. Don't you? Like, I feel like everyone pretty much that loved Harry Potter would love anything that is a magical school. So if you have any recommendations, again, leave them down below, because I just want to read all of them. And one of them that I have seen recommended was this one. This is The Magician's Guilt by Trudy Canavan. Let's try that one again. The Magician's Guilt by Trudy Canavan. And literally all I know is that there's a magical school in there. Am I hard to convince or not? Like, this is literally why I decided to pick it up. I mean, yeah, I'm probably gonna read anything that has that premise, so. And then we have The Sudden Appearance of Hope by Claire North. Earlier this year, I read The First 15 Lives of Harry August by the same author. Absolutely loved it. It's a really interesting concept, and I love the premise, and I realized that this is one author for me. Again, I feel like I find authors that have super interesting premises. Sometimes I don't love the way the book ends up being, but I just love the premise and I'm okay with that. Like, I just feel like when an author has a really like original idea, and basically she seems to only have that. This one, you're following a woman. I don't know if she's still young or not, but basically people forget about her as soon as she's not there. So basically her family, friends, strangers, after like 30 seconds after she's gone, they forget about her existence, which that seems kind of sad, but also very intriguing. So when I saw the book, I needed to own it. Almost done. The last three, I don't know anything about them except that they're basically like classics that a lot of people have been recommending to me. I don't really love mass market paperbacks, but when I find them for cheap and like in good condition, I just grab them. Like this one. This one is Swan Song by Robert McCammon. All I know is that this one is like post-apocalyptic, and I feel like a lot of people were saying when like earlier this year I was really into post-apocalyptic, so I had been getting a lot of reviews including this one, and this is probably going to be part in my next year read big books challenge. So clearly, obviously this edition is kind of worse, but there's like over 900 pages, so I am still loving post-apocalyptic, although I haven't been reading a lot in the last couple of months, but apparently this one is like one of all time's favorite for a lot of people, so got it. Finally found it for cheap. And I've also been more and more into the sci-fi mood, probably again because I've been reading a lot of horror instead of like classic sci-fi and fantasy as usual. So next to are sci-fi, again classics that a lot of people mention that I see on a lot of like all-time favorite lists, but I know nothing about because I like going into books blind, which makes really poor, hey, I bought this, here's no detail about it, but I bought this type of haul. But I got Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky, I think. And again, just a classic sci-fi. And same thing with, there's like no more space on my bookshelves, but it's there. And the last one is Anatom by Neil Stevenson, which again, I know nothing about it, except that it's a classic that a lot of people mention. I believe this one is also sci-fi. Again, it's a mass market paperback, which I don't love, but it's barely damaged and it looked like in super good condition. So when they're like really, really cheap, you just grab them anyway. If I really love it and something accidental happened to this copy, I might get a prettier edition, but I mean, at the end of the day, when a book is like 33 cents, you just grab it and you run with it. So that's what I've been doing. Seriously, everyone is always asking me where I find books for cheaps. Check your local library. They often have sales. Mine has crazy sales where it's like, now it's three books for $1. It used to be $4, but like, come on, can't beat this. So yeah, this was my crazy book haul. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to let me know in the comments if you have read any of those books or answer any of the questions that I've been asking. I feel like I've been asking a lot of questions in this haul. Please feel free to leave answers in the comment section or just comments in general. I like to interact with all of you. It's just the best part, basically. Talking about books with people is just, I mean, who can't be happy with that? So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. That way it helps other people find this haul and find all those great recommendations. Don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss any future videos where I might actually review some of those books. And I will be posting on the screen some other videos that I've done, so you can check those out if you want to see more videos. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!